welcome to part 3 of the Music Is series. I'm THALI and I am the founder of CAYA, which stands for Come As You Are, sound system, enterprise and audio, initially established in 2016. Also CAYA Audio, which was incorporated in 2019. That is who I am in a very small nutshell. However, I started the Music Is series really because of the current climate and what we're experiencing as live musicians, creatives, artists, and really just wanted to hone in on this time in particular and to find out how everyone is experiencing it, especially seeing as we're not able to, especially in the live industry, we're not able to, go out and play sessions. We've not been able to just do what we normally do, DJ sets, sound system sessions, just be creative. So I really wanted to hone into, people that I know who are also in the industry to find out how they are experiencing this time. And so I've got some questions that I asked, etc. And so far we've been joined by Young Warrior Sound System, and last week we were joined by Erica McCoy. So Young Warrior is the son of Jashaka and has a really prominent sound system here in the UK. He's also a producer. And last week we were joined by Erica McCoy, who's a radio broadcaster / DJ and presenter. And this week we are joined by Lou, and I'm not going to do the introduction. I'm going to get her to do that herself, because I don't think I'm going to do it enough justice. All the way live from Australia. Can't remember exactly where, but she'll tell you, no doubt. And yes, here we are.
Morning.
Evening and morning. How you doing?
Evening to you. I'm good.
Good. So we've got some listeners here that have joined us, obviously, as I described, for the third part in the series of Music Is. And I was just saying, obviously, who you are. I didn't actually say how we met. I met Lulu in Naples whilst at a sound system conference, and I was just blown away from just her aesthetics, and also the fact you were in Naples all the way from Australia. Obviously you told me a bit about research and the fact that you were doing a course and had included me in that as well, and so hence I reached out to you for this to be part of it, not only because of me knowing you, but because I just wanted to get that kind of intercontinental exterior experience as well as that in the UK. So yeah, you're all the way where you are, and I just wanted to hear from you. So tell everyone who you are, and yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Lucrecia Quintanilla, Lulu. I live in Melbourne in Australia, and I'm an artist and a DJ, and I have a small sound system called General Feeling Sound System that hasn't got out either for a year and a half now. And I'm a researcher at Monash Uni as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. And how long, tell them about Good Feeling Sound System. I know it's kind of not got out, but tell everyone about how that started, and obviously a bit more about your research.
It's a General Feeling Sound System started because I wanted to start my own woman-led sound system, but I had no idea how to do it. So I just went and did it. And then I also I was really interested in ideas around sound and music and diaspora, and I'm from El Salvador in Central America originally, and so I'm really interested. I grew up with music, and I'm really interested in music, and I wanted to explore that as well. And so my research is really pretty much that, except I say sonification and other stuff. Pretty much ongoing things.
Absolutely. And obviously you're in Australia now. Whereabouts in Australia are you?
In Melbourne. Yeah.
Fantastic. And so I know when we met, we spoke at some length about obviously your childhood and your musical influences, and obviously that being in El Salvador. I know that obviously you moved from there, etc., etc. But do you want to talk a bit about those early experiences before we get into the kind of music is and potentially, yeah, how those influenced you?
I was thinking before about your talk at the Sound System conference and how you talked about your childhood and what influenced you. And I remember sitting there thinking, my brain just like, I thought, you can talk about this. Yeah, it was really great how you incorporated that. I grew up listening to cumbia music and later on to salsa, but my family were musicians. One of my aunts that I spent the most time with was a cumbia singer, and my grandfather was a music teacher, and so that's what I grew up with, and and really loud radio, very loud radio, very small radio, very loud.
No, absolutely. I can so relate to that. So I suppose leading on from that, how do you think music has impacted your life?
Can't do without it. I mean, it's become many times so many different things. It's become like a connection to something. You know, Australia is really far away. It's really far away culturally, and so it's been really good to have that connection and that way of passing something down. And I have a child, so that's been a really good way to pass something down to him. And it's been an income when I've needed money. You know, it's been lots of really important things to me. A good way to make friends, especially.
Yeah, but I can so relate, especially when you said when you say about Australia being so far away, not only, you know, geographically, culturally as well. And I think, you know, for me, music is my well-being, you know, and it's something that has been such a coping mechanism, you know, and obviously from what we've discussed, you know, moving from country and continents, that takes a lot. And so having something that is quite consistent to be able to relate to be able to depend upon, you know, music does and has impacted you in that way. So no, I can so relate.
Yeah, I felt that when you gave that talk. I thought, oh wow, it's like it's the same for me, and the way that you spoke was so personal, but also you located it, you put yourself in a context where it explained all of what you do, and didn't need to, you know, you could have used all these like academic words and everything, but you didn't need to.
Yeah,
because you had already established that it's important. So I thought that was really great. Yeah.
Well, I think I find it a lot, you know, obviously you're the third guest, but I found, you know, going along this topic of music is, what I found is sometimes there are no words, you know, because it's an innate feeling.
Yeah.
And it's something that you can't describe in a fancy academic way. You can only present it in the best way you know how, whether that's through a song, whether that's through just talking from your heart and not feeling that it needs to be configured and packaged in the right way. So no, I can so relate. And moving on then, you spoke about, you know, your early childhood and your aunt and your dad and this radio. What's your first recollection of music? You spoke about cumbia music. What's your first recollection?
I always remember, I forget to talk about this, but like my uncle played the guitar, and I remember being a toddler, and everyone lived with us, and my uncle would play the guitar for me, and I'd sit and watch him for hours, or like he would play it. It was like sort of like the opposite of like the flute in the snake. He'd play the guitar and I'd fall asleep on the floor. I loved it. That was so just that being serenaded by my uncle.
Wow. And obviously from that kind of sparked something that then led you to becoming involved in music yourself, would you say? Because obviously we can all have those experiences, but then what led to kind of you deciding that, this is something that I want to, use as a tool to make friends, to express myself, to pass down. How did you get involved more so in music?
I danced a lot. I would go out dancing a lot. The music I wanted to dance to wasn't being played. So that's what happened, pretty much. And I thought that I could do it, even though I was a really terrible DJ. I was like, I can do this. There's something missing. Then I realized that if you're DJing, you can't really dance. But then I worked out, could. Yeah.
No, I get that so much. It is, because even when I'm running the sound, it's like you're engaged, but then you're not engaged in that you're part of the session, but then you're quite exclusively in your own little zone. And obviously it's the same when you're DJing, because you can't just kind of like go crazy and start dancing amongst everyone. But I think even that it says a lot about how you connect with things. Like for me it's enough just to be in that setting. I don't need to be brushing shoulders and in the midst of it. I just need to be present. So yeah, no, there's a lot from DJing, even though.
Yeah, the other thing I think about you when we met in Naples was when you were about to perform, you went into, we were chatting and then you were like, okay, bye. And then you went backstage or, behind the DJs and just like felt what people were feeling. Like you were just like absorbing. And then by the time, maybe like half an hour passed, by the time you started performing, it's like you already knew, you'd already felt.
Yeah.
I guess you can do that, but it takes, you have to do it at different times. You can't actually be amongst it while you're DJing.
Yeah. Yes. And I think from that, it's just like a connectivity, it's a connection. It's something that it just comes almost naturally that you kind of zone into, and just becomes part of you. So I think getting involved in music for me is something that it's just the done thing. But I think sound system, obviously culture is a world within itself and within the music industry. Without music, where do you think you would be? Because obviously that's how we met, by the conference, etc. Without music, what do you think your life would be like?
I was thinking this. I watch a lot of cook shows. And I think that there's other ways there's other things that do the same things that music do, but differently. So maybe I do more cooking, but also, I think it's sort of impossible to escape, when it was really quiet, because we had that 9-month lockdown here. It was really strict, and the birds were really making some techno out there. Like it sounded really, the birds here are really intense and not quaint. They don't hold back. So there'd be something.
There would be something. But do you think it would be something learned? Because I think what I got from you is your early experiences of, your childhood in El Salvador, moving to Australia, etc. Do you think it, obviously cooking, I suppose, it wouldn't have come as naturally, it would be a learned thing. But do you think there would have been anything, or is it comparable? Is there anything else that's like it that you maybe couldn't have learned to do, or you think that's it?
I think cooking is another essential thing, but it's one that you have to do. You have to cook. You have to eat something. Yeah, I think that's the only thing I can think of that's like it. Yeah.
Absolutely, the way you're passing things down, right? And obviously, no, I completely get that. And so, what I've also been asking is, what song have you been impacted the most by? What song can you recollect, and where were you? What was happening?
Oh, I love listening to Donna Summer in the car. I love that song. When you have it's like the best stereo. And when I love I Feel Love in the car really loudly, just driving. I mean, and it's it's beautiful. It's such a beautiful song. And her voice is incredible, and the build-up is huge, And
when was the first time that you heard it, and where were you at the time that you heard it?
I don't remember. Probably on the dance floor.
Okay.
Or maybe, you know what, maybe it was like on TV, those video shows of, from the 90s.
Yeah.
I would have been in the lounge room just going, who is this woman?
Yeah.
And the way she puts her arms out in the song, in the video, my God.
It was it captivated you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think for me, when I think of the songs that have impacted me the most, there's a few, but I think I can't remember if at the conference I spoke about the epiphany moment that I had, which led to me building the sound system, etc. And I think for me, it was kind of like, it was like it was just an epiphany, and it was like, this is what you're meant to do. And so it's really great to hear how people describe a song that kind of just changes them, whether it's to build a sound system, whether it's to go on and do academia, whether it's to go on and become a DJ. I think the power of music, of words in a song, and how they're able to really impact someone's life is incredible. Really incredible, because, spoken to a couple of people, like I've said, and the songs that they've spoken about and where they were and what that feeling was, it's just incredible. And what someone recognizes in a song that another person doesn't, because it's all based on the timing, it's all based on the environment, it's all based on their experiences. So it's always something so subjective, but it's like magic, basically.
It is like magic. It's really hard to explain. And as I write this PhD that I'm writing, I'm like, what is a word that's equivalent to saying vibe? And there isn't. Like, there's no, there's so many words you could use, but it's this, it's this, something strikes at you, and it doesn't have to be a cultural thing necessarily. It can be something so, obviously it always is going to be in some way, but it's the way you felt at the time, and the place, what the sound system sounded like, where you were standing, who you were standing with. These things are really important. But and what that song can mean for you as you grow, or as you But you're completely right. Like, there's I don't have a song that, when my son was a baby, and I think I was telling you this story maybe in April, but when my son was a baby, I listened to a lot of rocksteady and a lot of reggae, and I played Baba Boom Boom to him, to us a lot, and a lot. I played that song a lot. And my son would like, he would request it. It was like his favorite breastfeeding song. It's so I just think, well, we all have these things that we associate with music. It's like, okay.
No. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. And I think it's, you know, having you as one of the guests for me was like a real highlight, just because obviously you being where you are in Melbourne, obviously being an academic, a researcher and an artist, etc., having a sound system in Australia, you know, which is very far removed from the UK sound system culture here. It's really great. And so what's happening next for Lulu? What are you doing?
Well, you know, there's a big sound system scene out here. It's huge. There's a lot. There's in the reggae scene. There's another women's sound system now as well. For me, it's really hard to find places to put on a sound system party here. So I'm looking for somewhere, if anybody here watching. Things are becoming more open here, like in terms of COVID stuff. So people are emerging now, so hopefully a bit more of that stuff.
You're finishing your PhD as well, you were saying?
Yeah, I finish in a month's time, exactly a month from today. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that moment, and I'm just working towards that. I really haven't thought about the future so much, but I'm focusing on that. Yeah.
Great. Okay, and so how I've been wrapping up these sessions with everyone is arts start in the sentence music is, and then they finish it with a statement that they believe music is for them. So for me, music is my peace, my well-being, my passion, my heart, my love. Music is for Lulu. What is it?
It's like a meditation for me. Yeah. It's like a way to connect. It's connecting. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you very, very, very much. Does anyone have any questions? Just ask them now. And do you want to say what your PhD is about? No.
It's about sound and pretty much what we've been talking about. It's about sound and collectivity, and how in politics, in terms of pass on knowledge as people from the diaspora, and also to develop and add to that knowledge.
Absolutely. Okay. And you're studying at, is it Monash University?
Monash. Yeah.
Monash University. Okay. Great. And is there anywhere that people can see or find out a bit more about the sound system, or how will you promote the PhD, or how can I actually have a read of it?
You can go to my Instagram, and as soon as this is over, I'll put a link up on my bio to my website. But I always post about stuff on Instagram.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's the best place.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being a guest on the Music is series with myself. It's been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, we're going to keep in touch, obviously. I hope to find out all that's happening in Australia. And
let's get your sound system on a ship and come and play here as soon as this is over.
It's going to be doing its rounds, honestly, because I think
you can play it the whole way here.
Yeah, exactly that, on the ship over. Absolutely. But thank you so much, Lulu, and thank you for everyone that has joined us. And yes, we're going to be back next week at 6 p.m. with our fourth guest. But thank you. Thank you
so much for having me. Bye.
You're more than welcome. Have an amazing day.
You too. Have a good night.
Yes. Bye, everyone. Thank you.